Over the course of our lives, there are many occasions when we wish we could read the minds of others. The good news is we actually can, although only to a certain extent, and surely not in a magical or mystical way. The fact that there is nothing mystical in the way we mind read does not mean that it isn't still one of our most fascinating social abilities. Let us introduce you to the most powerful social tool at your disposal: mentalization. We use mentalization as a guide during our social interactions with others and to explain or predict behavior. There are 4 important aspects to mentalizing about others. First, mentalization entails taking the perspectives of others. Perspective taking involves noting physical changes in another person relative to their surroundings, taking their vantage point while looking for signals and cues in their nonverbal behavior that reveal their mental state. Second, it also entails gaining the perspectives of others. Perspective gaining involves sharing the conceptual viewpoint of another person. We gain the perspectives of others through verbal or written information exchanges. Third, mentalization is critical to the ability to shift between different perspectives and to compare different mindsets to one another. Finally, mentalization is key to our ability to shape the perspectives of others. Perspective shaping entails the conscious and controlled use of mentalization to impact perspectives and accompanying behavior of other people in order to promote our objectives. The taking, gaining, shifting and shaping of perspectives of others is known as interpersonal mentalizing. Mentalization does not focus solely on the perspectives of others. We also mentalize about ourselves by taking our own perspectives through the conscious observation of something of interest and considering our cognitive, affective and behavioral response in relation to our observation. We gain our own perspectives by using our inner voice to reason about our own mental states. Self-mentalization is key to shifting our own perspectives. For example, comparing our own perspective to that of another, or moving from an old perspective to a new one. Self-mentalization is also critical to shaping our own perspectives, through internal monologues that help us arrive at a satisfying understanding of different situations. In contrast to interpersonal mentalizing, we mentalize about our own mental states to explain and predict our own behavior. The ability to mentalize about ourselves is referred to as intrapersonal mentalizing. Mental state reasoning extends even beyond intra- and interpersonal mentalizing. We use it to consider how extrapersonal factors, such as contextual and environmental influences, impact mental states in general. We refer to this aspect of mentalization as extrapersonal mentalizing. Additionally, extrapersonal mentalizing relates to reasoning about mental states on a group level. Here we mentalize about others with whom we do not have personal interaction. For instance, we consider predominantly shared mental states that may underlie the perspectives of people from different cultures. The process of taking, gaining, shifting and shaping perspectives of larger groups is similar to interpersonal mentalizing, although its scope is much broader. The mentalization process starts with the detection of social signals and cues in verbal and nonverbal behavior. It continues with the attachment of meaning to these social indicators. These meaningful inferences allow us to explain past behavior and to predict future behavior. Mentalization lies at the core of the key cognitive processes that we use to interpret and guide social behavior. It is by and large an interpersonal endeavor that we rely upon to make social interactions run more smoothly and at the same time achieve our objectives. Mentalization is critical to successful cooperation and affiliation with others. We use our mentalizing capacities to assess the trustworthiness and competence of others, helping us to make better social affiliation decisions. We also employ it when we want to gain competitive advantage over others, or when we wish to socially distance ourselves from those whose interests do not align with our own. The motivational impetus to mentalize about others is innate. The tendency is so strong, in fact, that we even infer mental states in non-human entities, such as cars or computers, thereby anthropomorphizing them. Theory of mind has actually played an important role in the emergence of religious beliefs and devotion to a personified higher power. Mentalization is a multifaceted concept which operates on many different levels. Although the constituent components of mentalization are closely interconnected, we have identified 3 distinct levels of mentalization. We call the first level basic mentalizing, as it involves the most elementary level of mentalization, at which we derive basic mental state inferences by reading nonverbal behaviors and our sensorial reactions to them. Basic mentalizing reveals straightforward goal-directed behavior and primary affective states. The second level is labeled affective mentalizing, as it involves our ability to make more complex affective mental state inferences that help us to regulate emotions, feelings, and moods that advance or impede our social interaction and our mentalizing efforts. We call the third level strategic mentalizing, which involves the most cognitive level of mentalization, enabling us to infer the more epistemic mental states, such as desires, beliefs, knowledge, and intentions. We refer to this level as strategic mentalizing since it involves the prediction or explanation of complex goal-directed behavior. Theory of mind refers to this highest level of mentalizing, where we construct and evaluate increasingly rational models of what is going on in the minds of others. This highest level represents the integration of all 3 levels of mentalization: basic, affective, and strategic. It demarks the point at which we step away from common sense psychology and mentalize on a more abstract level, applying psychological theory to human behavior and reasoning. Mentalization is an ongoing iterative and cyclical process that coalesces in a comprehensive theory of mind. In other words, accurate mental state inferences are the result of an iterative process by which we navigate among these 3 levels of mentalization during our interactions with others. Our hierarchical classification helps to explain where, when, and how the different levels of mentalization are best applied. It also helps to identify strengths and weaknesses in our mentalizing competencies. Additionally, mentalization is an iterative process in the sense that we move forward and backward in time to gather and connect social information from events in the past, from the present, and from our predictions of possible future scenarios. Accurate mental state inferences are likewise the result of a co-creative iterative endeavor involving interactional partners.